Good morning, beloveds. I admit to struggling a bit this morning. Got up, went to the gym, came home, took a shower, and have lost all sense of time. So, it is January 12th. Our title is, I Know That the Truth is in Me, Perfect and Complete. I have not written unto you because ye know not the truth, but because ye know it, and that no lie is of the truth. And that is 1 John 2:21. This is God your Lord, all power is his, but the gods ye call on beside him have no power over the husk of a date stone. And that is from the Quran. However anxious you may be, you will not save yourself. The perfect men of old first had what they wanted to do in themselves, and afterwards they found the response to it in others. The texts of Taoism. There is no power, presence, or person outside the divine. God not only is, he is also one. Our lesson from the Quran says that a belief in any opposite to the one has no power. Even a darkness has no power over light. God is light, and in him there is no darkness. To believe in the light is to dispel the darkness. A knowledge of good overcomes evil. The consciousness of abundance dispels want and pours the contents of the horn of plenty into our uplifted bowl of acceptance. John tells us that there is no lie in the truth. The truth never contradicts itself. It never denies us our good. It evermore proclaims the divine presence in everything, through everything, and around everything. If God is allness, then there is no otherness. Kwanzi tells us that anxiety will not save us because anxiety is unbelief. Jesus also tells us to take no anxious thought for tomorrow. The Chinese sage said that perfected men find that they already have everything within themselves, after which they discover the same in others. This corresponds to the teachings of Jesus that the blind cannot lead the blind. We must know the truth about ourselves before we can know it about others. This is the lesson. I know that the truth is in me, perfect and complete. I know that I manifest the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I know that the truth makes me free. Today, it frees me from the burden of care and anxiety. Every form of fear, every sense of burden is dropped by my consciousness, and I walk the way of truth lightly and joyously. Okay. And actually, that's the best explanation I've ever heard about the blind leading the blind. And it makes sense. It makes sense. If we know who we are, then we can recognize it in others because we're all one. So we do the spiritual work to know who we are. We don't have to unify with the one, but what we have to do is open ourselves up to the feeling of that unity. It's like we're one. We don't have a choice in that matter, but it's about recognizing it. Once we recognize that we are one with the divine source, then we can look around at everybody else and go, oh yeah, so are you. So are you. And that's why we do spiritual work, so that we can recognize it in ourselves and recognize it in others. Interesting. Which makes me wonder, when he referenced Kwanzi, is he referencing some other thing that or is Kwanzi the author of the texts of Taoism? Okay, so the title again is, I know that the truth is in me, perfect and complete. That is the goal. That is the purpose of spiritual practice, to know the truth and to recognize that it is already whole and complete within ourselves. That's who we are. And I like that John says, I've not written unto you because ye know not the truth, but because you know it, and there is no lie in the truth. It's like I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. What I'm doing is reminding you what you do know. You already know this. It's just my job to occasionally remind you. So 1 John 2:21. That's what that one's from. Okay, so from the Quran, this is God your Lord. All power is his. But the gods ye call on besides him have no power over the husk of the date stone. And what Ernest says further on there is there's one power. Period. There's not an equal and opposite power. There's one power. So if you try and put your faith in another power than God, you're barking up the wrong tree. Okay, and then the texts of Taoism. However anxious you may be, you will not save yourself. The perfect men of old first had what they wanted to do in themselves, and then afterwards they found the response to it in others. I think it's a translation issue. Because there's words in brackets, so I'm guessing that it's not a perfect translation. But basically, once they knew who they were, then they recognized it in others, and that's what Ernest says in the body of the text. Which is one of the reasons why I encourage the practice of the kind, compassionate, loving thing for yourself. Because if you can do it for yourself, you can do it for anybody. Same thing here. It's like if you know who you are, then you can recognize it in others. So there is no power or there's no power, presence, or person outside the divine. There is nothing other than the divine. Everything that you look at, everyone you look at, is made by the divine, of the divine, including you. God not only is, God is also one. Our lesson from the Quran says that a belief in any opposite to the one has no power, because there isn't an opposite to the one. Even as darkness has no power over light. God is light, and in God there is no darkness. To believe in the light is to dispel the darkness. Okay, I can't. Feel free to take that line because there's no way to say that better than it already is. Take that into your meditations. Take that into your treatment. A knowledge of good overcomes evil. Recognizing that good actually is a power and evil is a misuse. The consciousness of abundance dispels want and pours the contents of the horn of plenty into our uplifted bowl of acceptance. And that really is what the consciousness of abundance is. It's about acceptance. It's about the willingness to accept. Because the more you're willing to accept, the more that you will be given. Across the board. At which point I'm going to remind you of what Reverend Marcia would say is no is divine as well. The divine no. Because sometimes you're willing to accept things and you shouldn't be. So there are things that you can and should say no to. All right. So John tells us that there is no lie in the truth. The truth never contradicts itself. And that's one of the things about when you tell a lie, you have to remember it, because then you have to keep all your lies straight. So that's too much work. Just tell the truth. And that's because lies are way too much work. So the truth never contradicts itself. It never denies us our good. It evermore proclaims the divine presence in everything, through everything, and around everything. Because it's telling the truth, and it doesn't have to continue to spin tales to keep you engaged. If God is allness, then there is no otherness. Like, that's that call to remind us the infinite variety is still one. There is no other. And if we could stop othering each other, then the world would work a lot better. Kwanzi tells us that anxiety will not save us because anxiety is unbelief. So anxiety will not save us. Preparation is fine. Worrying is not. Which I always go back to that quote of Albert Einstein, that worry is a misuse of imagination. So anxiety will not save us. You are free to prepare for the future, but don't worry about it because you're wasting your power. Literally wasting your power. Imagine things going well. Jesus also tells us to take no anxious thought for tomorrow. The Chinese sage said that the perfected men find that they already have everything within themselves. All right, we already have everything within ourselves. And after which they discover the same in others. So it's like once you can recognize it in yourself, then you can recognize it in other people. That is not saying that you can't see something in somebody else and then go, oh yeah, and recognize it in yourself. It's just saying that once you've got it in yourself, you know it when you see it. So take the recognition, however you get it, and then accept it for everyone. This corresponds to the teaching of Jesus that the blind cannot lead the blind. We must know the truth about ourselves before we can know it about others. This is the lesson. You are a beloved child of God. When you can know and accept that, then you can know and accept it for everyone. All right? And that's not saying that you can't know and accept other people as the beloved child of God before you can accept it about yourself. It happens, it absolutely happens. But once you accept it about yourself, then you can accept it about absolutely everyone. And that's the difference. That's the difference. It's like, yes, you can know things about other people and not recognize it in yourself. But if you want to be able to recognize it in everybody, you have to know it about yourself. All right? So this is the lesson. So I know that the truth is in me, perfect and complete. I know that I manifest truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I feel like I'm on a law show. I know that the truth makes me free. Today, it frees me from the burden of care and anxiety. It does not free me from the preparation for tomorrow, but what it does is frees me from the worry of tomorrow. Because I know that tomorrow will take care of itself. And there's no point in wasting my power worrying about it. Every form of fear, every sense of burden is dropped from my consciousness, and I walk the way of truth lightly and joyously. And that goes back to what I said about the difference between lying and telling the truth. When you tell the truth, that's it. You're done. When you tell a lie, you create a whole lot more work for yourself. So when you walk in the truth, you will walk lightly. All right. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it? I'm going to take the one from Jesus. To take no anxious thought for tomorrow. That is the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to take no anxious thought for tomorrow. To ground and center ourselves in the truth of who we are, which is we are beloved children of God. To know that the divine mind is open to us because it is the mind that we use, which means that everything that we will need tomorrow already exists and is available to us. And so we don't have any anxious thoughts. We have plenty of preparation, but no anxious thoughts. And how do we do that? That's what the spiritual practice is about. It's about, like I said, grounding and centering ourselves in the oneness, in the Spirit, in God, and knowing who we are. All right, beloveds. I'm also, as I always do, going to encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. Big, small, does not matter, whatever it is. That way, you are one, it's a spiritual practice. 2, you are creating a habit. 3, you are creating a first response. And if you can respond to yourself in every situation, lovingly, kindly, and compassionately, you can do it for anybody. All right? That's why I encourage you to practice it on yourself. And you deserve it. You deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. All right, beloveds? Every day. All right? Big, small, does not matter. Just the act. And it can be the same or different. It's up to you. I like variety in my life, but, I got one friend who, his loving, kind, compassionate thing is that cup of tea every morning. And it's a ritual, and it is good, and I encourage that too. So, all right, beloveds, I'm going to move into the process of my day, so I'm going to encourage you to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like today. It was cool in the gym today, but by the end of it, both of us got hot enough to take our jackets off, because, we're working in an outdoor garage with the door open. I would tell you to get a face full of sun, but if you live here, well... cloudy out there, so go get some bright light first thing this morning, and drink plenty of water. Hydrate, super important for you. Good for the skin, good for the brain, maybe not for the bladder. I've had a lot of water this morning, so it actually is really good for the bladder, but you know what I mean. Open the windows of your soul. Now allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It is all around us. It is up to us to pay attention, to see the oneness, to see the spirit, to see the love, to see the plenty, to see the amazingness around us. And Emma says, look for the good and praise it. That's how you find heaven on earth. All right, beloveds. It's Wednesday night. I believe that they are still doing the Living the Science of Mind. Email info@creativelife.org. Get on that mailing list. That will have all of the hot links, including being able to request the Zoom link, because we have 3 book studies going on right now. So that's really amazing. And then I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. And have a great day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, an enchanted day, an enchanting day, a magical day, a super day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. All right, beloveds, take care of yourself. Catch us on the social medias, the Creative Life Spiritual Center, the Creative Life Spark on the 4 platforms, and I am the Running Rev Ryan. That's where these talks are archived. So take care of yourself, and I will see you next time. Know that you're loved.